Thank you, Brian. Good morning. Welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church of Greenfield. My name is Dan Tynan. I'm a layman and a resident of Shelburne and a member of this church since 1998. However, thanks to the appearance of a new granddaughter 5 or 6 weeks ago, I now spend the majority of my time in the Bay Area, San Francisco, with my wife Ellen, her daughter Sarah, husband Parker, and little Chloe. It's great to be back here in New England, seeing all the familiar faces and places, especially at the 3 UU churches in Franklin County, First Parish in Northfield, Bernardston, and All Souls. All 3 of these have been outposts of liberal religion since the 17th century. I think First Parish was started in 1679. The building at Bernardston is from 1739. But anyway, I'm honored to lead the service this morning, and thank you all here in person and online for joining us. You know, Sunday mornings for UUs aren't like we're not here to worship or give our obeisance to something up in the sky. They are, however, sacred times that we set apart from everyday things to reflect on where we've been, where we're going, our purpose in life. This is an hour out of the week where we focus our energy towards our highest and most meaningful goals, trying to become deeper, wiser, and more effective. Since last June, when Ellen and I moved from the Seattle area to be closer to her pregnant daughter, Sarah, I spend most Sunday mornings at the UU Church in Berkeley, California. And the minister there, Reverend Marcus Liefert, starts their services with words something like I'm about to say, which is very similar to what we usually say here at All Souls. I forget the new minister's name. Reverend Doug. Okay. All right. In any case, we hope that no matter who you are, how you make your living, or how you experience the sacred, or who you love, you will feel welcome here among us in the fullness of your being. We gather here at the intersection of art, justice, and spirituality, hoping to mend the wounds of past injustices so we may assist in tikkun olam, the healing of the world. So, may I invite Kate to come up, and are we going to do a separate prelude first, or that was music as we enter? Let us sit in silence as we listen to the prelude.
Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. Do you hear the pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your step. Just direct your feet to the sunny, sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid of this rover cross over. If I never had a cent, I'll be rich as Elon Musk. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny, sunny side of the street. crossed over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Elon Musk. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny, sunny side of the street.
Ariel, would you light the chalice? Are you okay with that? Right up here. So let's share together the words printed in your order of service. There's a little stub of a candle here. It's this one. I like initiating new people to this. I should have warned you, though. I'm sorry. When was the last? I've been away for several months. I don't think I've been here since May. So please forgive me. Let's join together in the chalice lighting in your order of service. May the light of this flame illuminate our minds. May the heat of this flame warm our hearts. May the focus of this flame bind us together in one loving community. So now let's rise as you are willing and able, if you want, to sing number 331, Life is the Greatest Gift of All. He'll play it through once so you get the melody. Life is the greatest gift of all the riches on this earth. Life and its creatures, great and small, of high and lowly birth. So treasure it and measure it with deeds of shining worth. Mind is the brightest gift of all, its thought no barrier mars. It seeks creation's hidden plan, its quest surmounts all bars. It reins the wind, it shames the storm, it weighs the outmost stars. We are of life, its shining gift, the measure of all things. Up from the dust our temples lift, our vision soars on wings. For seed and root, for flower and fruit, our grateful spirit sings. Please join me in reading together out loud All Souls Covenant, which you will find right below the hymn and this order of service. In this house, we covenant with one another to listen respectfully with an open mind and value our diversity as a source of our communal strength, to learn together and grow together, generously sharing our time, talents, and treasures, to celebrate the joys of discovery, embracing the fullest measure of our humanity from the wonder of youth to the wisdom of age, to openly share our laughter and our tears, showing reverence for the divine in all that is. Every week in this church, we take up a free will offering, which gives us the opportunity to exercise the generosity of spirit that supports all souls and its many ministries. We see this act of giving, of growing more generous in our hearts and in our actions, as essential to our spiritual well-being. So we will now receive this morning's offering. But we invite, if you're visiting for the first time, you may please let the plate pass you by. You are our guest today. I have a reading in the back of the hymnal, number 538, but it's not a responsive reading where I say something and then you say something. In this one, we're going to all read it together. And sometimes people go, well, why do we have to read things together? It seems so strange. But there is something about a group of people reading aloud together in real space, not just listening passively, that makes a difference, I think. So let's read together 538, once I find it in the back. Okay. Harbingers of frost. Autumn, we know, is life and root to death. The asters are but harbingers of frost. The trees, flaunting their colors at the sky, in other times will follow where the leaves have fallen, and so shall we. Yet other lives will come, so may we know, accept, embrace the mystery of life we hold a while. Not mourn that it outgrows each separate self, but still rejoice that we may have our day. Lift high our colors to the sky and give, in our time, fresh glory to the earth. Well, I don't need to preach my sermon now. He said it so well. Now, I am not, the procedure for becoming a fully fellowshipped Unitarian Universalist minister involves several years of graduate work, and then an internship, and then going through several stages of examination and stuff like that. I did not do that. But I am wearing the vestment here for which I am qualified, which is I am a tenor in the All Souls Choir, and I'm going to take that. So I'm going to sing a song now and invite you to join along. I am doing this the right time, right? Oh, here we go. I think, check, 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 1, 2. I think most boomers will recognize this. Yes, I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Leaping and hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. And if I ever lose my hand, lose my plow, lose my land, oh, if I ever lose my hand, away, I won't have to work no more. And if I ever lose my eye, all my colors all run dry. Oh, if I ever lose my eye, away, I won't have to cry no more. Yes, I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Leaping and hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. And if I ever lose my leg, I won't moan and I won't beg. Oh, if I ever lose my leg, away, I won't have to walk no more. And if I ever lose my mouth, or my teeth, north and south, oh, if I ever lose my mouth, away, I won't have to talk. I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Leaping and hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Did it take long to find me? I asked the faithful light. Did it take long to find me? And are you gonna stay the night? I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Leaping, hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Moon shadow, moon shadow. Moon shadow, moon shadow. The year before Cat Stevens wrote that song, he came down with a bad case of tuberculosis that nearly killed him. He was in the hospital for months and spent a year in recovery just before he became famous, really. We don't think that much about tuberculosis anymore because of immunizations and new antibiotics, but it is dangerous. In the 1800s, when it was called consumption, it was responsible for about 25% of the deaths in Europe. And less than 2 years after they were married, Ralph Waldo Emerson's first wife died from it. So did Emerson's father, his brothers, and his good friend, Henry David Thoreau. Medicine didn't know it was a contagious disease until 1882. They thought it was something that ran in families. TB is the leading cause of death by infectious disease even today, now that fatalities from COVID-19 have declined. Last year, about 1.25 million people worldwide died from it. And so before antibiotics, most cities and counties established dedicated sanitariums where people would be quarantined to protect public health. You have a lot of time to think when you're in isolation for months and months in a hospital or a sanitarium. Some of your fellow patients would die, and you wonder if you will too. And maybe the antibiotics won't work in your case. Today there is a drug-resistant strain of TB going around. Or maybe you will be cured, but your lungs will be so scarred from the occurrence that you won't be able to sing again. The lyrics to Moonshadow show that Cat Stevens had a healthy coping mechanism of realistically seeing that bad things might happen, but as long as you're alive, there may be some good to be found in even the worst situation. If I lose my hands, my eyes, my legs, my mouth, that is called detachment in traditional spiritual language, and it's something that we ought to aspire to. Even though we don't have to worry about tuberculosis anymore, we know eventually something's gonna get us. We try to take care of our bodies to the best of our abilities, I hope you do, but eventually you find yourself sitting in a little room at your doctor's office, dressed in one of those gowns open at the back that somehow they expect you to be able to tie behind your back, with your street clothes draped over a chair, waiting for your doctor to come in. Or maybe you get a phone call asking you to come in and discuss your test results, or telling you you need to have another biopsy. No matter how carefully we eat and exercise and live a healthy life, we all know our bodies won't last forever. The DNA instructions that are constantly rebuilding and defending our bodies, they get a little warped every time they're copied over the years. That's why we get wrinkles. At the age that a lot of us are, isn't it easy to feel like an old car that needs more and more repairs as the miles add up? Sort of like owning a car that's 10 or 12 years old. Yeah, well, if you need new brakes, that's not so bad. You need a new muffler, that doesn't cost too much. But then you start to hear the engine knocking as you go up a hill, and you wonder, gee, is this thing, maybe I need to have a major overhaul of the engine or the transmission. And you wonder, is it worth repairing this thing anymore? And that's the way we feel about our bodies, except we don't get to trade in the old one and get a new one. It's no problem having to take a pill every day to control high blood pressure, or have your dermatologist remove a suspicious mole, or have cataract surgery or hearing aids. And then they tell you you need a knee replacement or a hip replacement. Or you take a fall and have to be in rehab for a couple of weeks. Or as in my case, you get a cancer diagnosis, and while that's no longer a death sentence, it's sort of like taking on a part-time job dealing with coming in for scans and treatments and taking pills and periodic blood draws. That's life, though. The UU minister, Forrest Church, said, "Religion is the human response to being alive and knowing that one day we'll die. The goal is to live in such a way that our lives will prove worth dying for." Halloween and the Dia de los Muertos that we just celebrated are recognitions of that core human condition, the consciousness of our own mortality and of those we love. And as far as we know, human consciousness is unique in that regard. But look at the attitude that Cat Stevens had in Moonshadow. It's all about how we relate to the inevitable. Even rich and famous people who seem to be invulnerable aren't. We baby boomers have been walking down the road of life with this huge cohort of other people alongside of us, and bit by bit, you start looking around and say, Where'd everybody go? Tom Petty, Diane Keaton, Jane Goodall, Brian Wilson, Gene Hackman, Robert Redford, Susan Stanberg. I mean, Susan Stanberg talking on NPR about her mom's cranberry relish recipe has been a feature of Thanksgiving for me for decades. And there's a little bit of grief at losing that. It's not a huge thing, but there are hundreds of little losses like that in our lives that pile up. At a certain point, you can't say, why is this happening to me? It's more like, why not me? I mean, I'm almost 9 years older than Franklin Roosevelt was when he died. And in those pictures with Churchill and Stalin at the Yalta Conference, he really did not look good. Mentally, I feel like I'm in my mid-30s, but when I look in the mirror, there's this old man looking back at me. Life isn't unfair. That's just the way it is. No organic being lasts forever. Even the tall redwoods in the Sierras die after a few thousand years. All life forms on Earth battle against what accountants call depreciation and what physicists call entropy. But if you paralyze yourself with dark imaginings about what might happen, you deprive yourself of the confidence and energy to live in the here and now. Someday we'll die, but we're not dead yet. Yes, bad things happen. Life is a crazy quilt of joy and sorrow. But the great religious traditions of the world, from Buddhism to Christian contemplative orders, teach us to have a little detachment and let go of unnecessary anxiety about things we have no control over. And there are a lot of things we don't have control over. George Harrison's song, All Things Must Pass, celebrates that kind of detachment and acceptance. There is sorrow in seeing friends, parents, partners, longtime members of our congregation, people who meant a lot to us, pass away. But as Harrison also sang, it's not always going to be this gray. You do have a right to take care of yourself as you age. Now, think about infants and toddlers. For the first years of human life, we're pretty underdeveloped. John Spong said, babies have a loudspeaker at one end and no sense of responsibility at the other. Yet still we care for infants. We nurture toddlers who don't have the skills yet to deal with the world. How much more should society care for elders and care for ourselves and let others care for us, as over the natural course of life our capabilities change, our physical strength diminishes, whole systems might fail and need to be replaced, or things that have gone wrong in our skin or our kidneys or our prostate need to be removed. But it's not all bad living in this reality. As we age, some things actually get better. Creativity tends to hold constant throughout life or even increase. There are many examples of artists, authors, and musicians who've done some of their best work in their senior years. Our sharpness and mental speed at learning new things that come at us faster and faster in this technological world, that might decline, but we increase in crystallized intelligence. Crystallized intelligence is the long and complex experiences of our lives interpreted into wisdom. That measurably increases as we get older. I have to say here, I sometimes feel like I'm a 4 terabyte hard drive up here. I know the information's in there someplace. You know, that actress, the one with the black hair, she shot arrows, you know, but the disk directory is going to have some time to find it. 2 hours later, as we're going to bed, Jennifer Lawrence. Elders do seem to get happier on average as long as our basic needs are met. Think about a moon shadow. A few days ago, we experienced a full moon of November, which is called the beaver moon or the hunter's moon. On a clear night a few days ago, you could see her moon shadow very clearly. A lot of other phases of the moon, when it's dimmer, it's harder to see those shadows. And you could imagine that there's no moon shadow at all. So a moon shadow is a faint thing following us. It rises in intensity and it falls. We're all being followed by the moon shadow of mortality. It's not something we want to dwell on, but acknowledging that shadow periodically helps us build strength to deal with that moment in the doctor's office or at the bedside of a loved one in the hospital. I saw Forest Church, who I talked about earlier, one of the great UU ministers of the 20th century, giving a speech at our General Assembly after he was diagnosed with terminal esophageal cancer. He was so calm and accepting. He treated his experience as another interesting topic. He even wrote his final book, Love and Death, My Journey Through the Valley of the Shadow, about it. I want to sidebar a little bit here and say, I'm not talking about positive thinking or Christian Science. It's about acceptance of reality instead of denial or wishful thinking. Now, do I wish things were different? Do I wish that there was a fountain of youth and cures for every disease? Sure. But 2 centuries ago, people wished for a whole lot of things that we have: a cure for tuberculosis, effective treatments for cancer, and the means to feed every person on the face of the earth if political differences and greed weren't in the way. When many people face the disappointments of life, they're tempted sometimes to escape into a magic fantasy of alternative worlds, an eventual heaven, or they indulge in despair. I remember singing in a church choir, Episcopal church, some very minor key anthem, and one of those lines was, "In the midst of life we are in death." You know, very Middle Ages kind of thing. It's a defense mechanism of pessimism. If I always think the worst, I'll be pleasantly surprised when it's not as bad as I thought it would be. But that's not a great way to live your life. Having an attitude of measured detachment and acceptance increases our emotional health. And increasing our emotional health, the way we feel, can improve our cognition and our physical health some. But those effects are oversold by some who claim you can get rid of arthritis or cancer or heart disease by positive thinking or eating more broccoli or drinking apple cider vinegar every morning. The effect I'm talking about is one of peace and resilience in circumstances you'd rather not be in. Negative thinking makes a bad situation worse, no doubt, but a positive mental attitude isn't a magic bullet. And you're perfectly welcome to drink apple cider vinegar. It might work for you. Most of the things that happen to us are not as dramatic as the song. We don't completely lose a hand, our eye, our legs, a mouth. But we can get arthritis, have trouble seeing at night, limp a little bit, our voice gets weak, we need to have crowns, common things like that. At every level of intensity, detachment can help us cope in a healthy way. And even though you can't throw a football as far as you could in high school, you have insight and meaning that you didn't have when you were 17. We all experience loss, little losses, like throwing a football. Or you can't see as well, you can't hear, you can't understand people as well. I can't really deal with Masterpiece Theater when they have a really thick English accent anymore, no matter how well I turn up the volume. Then there are the big losses, the real grief. Detachment and acceptance doesn't mean you deny those real losses. It doesn't mean you swallow your feelings and whistle past the graveyard. It means keeping a place within yourself that realizes it's normal for things to change over time, and bad things will pass, just as good things will pass. George Harrison's song, All Things Must Pass, has an interesting lyric about things not lasting forever, both good and bad. Now, it seems to be about the ending of a relationship, but since he was the spiritual Beatle, it's easy to imagine he had something more transcendent in mind. His arrangement on the record is very meditative. It's a little mournful. It emphasizes the leaving part of things passing. And one day, I was sitting at the piano thinking about how great it would be when a certain political regime in Washington passes, and I decided to speed up the song and change the emphasis to make it into a celebration. All things must pass, even this craziness. So if you'll indulge me, let me go over to the piano and rise as you're willing and able, and we'll sing this as our closing hymn. Now, I realize this isn't an easy sing-along song, but let's give it a try. You can sing along with the melody if you like. The lyrics are in your insert here, or just sing on the chorus. But I better get some water first. Okay, try to keep up. All right. Sunrise doesn't last all morning. A cloudburst doesn't last all day. Seems my love is up and has left you with no warning. It's not always gonna be this great. All things must pass. All things must pass away. Sunset doesn't last all evening. A mind can blow those clouds away. After all this, my love is up and must be leaving. It's not always gonna be this great. All things must pass. All things must pass away. All things must pass. None of life's strings can last. So I must be on my way and face another day. Now the darkness only stays the nighttime. In the morning it will fade away. Dim light is good at arriving at the right time. It's not always gonna be this great. All things must pass. All things must pass away. All things must pass. All things must pass away. Now is the time in our service for sharing joys and sorrows. If you come here to All Souls this morning with a sorrow that needs the help of this community to carry it, or a joy so great that it will lift all our hearts by your sharing it, a birthday, an anniversary, now is the time. You may share with the congregation. A microphone will be brought to you, or in silence you can light a candle over there on the side of the sanctuary by the windows. If you are sharing with the congregation, please note that this isn't a time for personal or political announcements. We care for each other by being true to the purpose of this time. We also care for each other by our brevity, so please be brief. We're doing okay. Sometimes I run long. There will be an opportunity after the service here for longer conversations and for sharing announcements. So if you do have an announcement, we will give you the microphone after the service, and while we're all drinking coffee, and can come up and ask you, what was that date again? A very great joy we feel today is to have visitors to All Souls. So during this time of joys and sorrows, we also ask you, if you're not too shy about it, to introduce yourself. It's not required. We just want to welcome you. Now is the time for welcoming visitors and for sharing joys and sorrows.
And welcome folks on Zoom.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
How many do we have on Zoom today?
Well, Dan, you can keep count as I read their names. Carlin, Cassie Walker, David Levitt, Ellen Blanchett, Emma Morgan, Gary Pausner, Iona Truesdale, Joan Pillsbury, Link Hurst, Maria Trementozzi, and Trudy Ralph are joining us this morning on Zoom.
There's a good virtual crowd here, and it's a good thing that All Souls invested in a very nice system, and that we have a very capable operator here, making sure that all the technical details are. It's much better than the early days of COVID, where we held a laptop here. Okay.
Hi, I'm Ariel. I've been here on and off for a very long time, and I know a number of people here for many years, gratefully. Dan Tynan. We've known each other for 52 and a half years.
You checked your date book, did you?
One of the things I remember accurately, which is uncommon these days. And it's just such an absolute joy. We've been spiritual siblings, I feel like, right from the very beginning. I remember him as a college sophomore talking about whether he might or might not be called to ministry, and I always hoped it would happen someday. So I'm kind of a Dan Tynan groupie for sure. And also, next time he comes back, I hope how is it Bork, Tynan, Kahn trio? The musical trio that he's part of.
We'll see.
I hope next time everyone here will be able to come and hear how he can really kick it out musically, as they did as a trio yesterday at 4 Star Brewery in Northfield. Anyway, just such a joy to hear your wisdom and your whimsy about exactly where we are.
Oh, I'll let you,
I think they still have copies of it, because I brought this poem and I didn't have time to make a copy of it, but they did make 20 copies. And it's a poem called Dust If You Must. But wouldn't it be better? And it says all these other things you could do. And then it says, and eventually go we must, as we all must go, and you too will be dust. Ashes to ashes and dust to us. So I hope they still have more copies. The other thing is, I didn't know if I ever shared this. I have a copy of a UU indulgence. The bearer is entitled to 1 UU indulgence. And then it says, please forgive, absolve, enter into discussion with. And then I would have these choices. One of them is Mr. Rogers. The other one is the laws of physics, or the universe, or Madam Speaker, or the choir director. And then they have these various things. Such as clapping on the 1 and the 3.
the switch is off.
Thank you. Acting slothfully upon, pretending marshmallows are vegetarian. Failing to point out when somebody was wrong on the internet. Disobeying the meeting chair or the choir director. Photocopying this indulgence without going to the uuhystericalsociety.com to get my own copy. And Unitarian Universalist Purgatory is the meeting to which Unitarians are immediately taken upon their deaths, where they will remain until such time as they are able to successfully adjourn the meeting without discussing whether or not motions to adjourn require a second. And I often say that humor is my practice.
It's a good practice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
Hi. I'd actually just like to light a candle of concern for a friend who's dealing with some complications around her partner's pregnancy.
Hi, I'm El. I grew up coming in this church. I'm not sick. I just like masks. My partner, Tiffany, this is her first time seeing the parish. We saw it downstairs like last year, but we were long distance for a year and now living together for a year, and that's nice.
Welcome back, Al. And Tiffany, welcome.
Hello, is it on? Yes, Robin. I have two joys. One is we had a nice gathering after the service last Sunday of 7 people up here talking about finding hope through community and right action, and I'm hoping to have more of those maybe every month. So that went well. And I also wanted to share, I got some good news that I had to have some biopsies, and they all turned out to be benign. So very relieved at that.
Anybody on Zoom?
Ellen Blanchette would like to share something with us herself, so I'm going to ask her to unmute at this time. And Ellen, you can unmute and speak to the congregation.
Hi, good morning. So Dan, thank you for that. There was a lot in that that speaks to me and I do have a joy. I have to say my son, who did come and spend 6 weeks with me after I had a stroke this year, his birthday, 55th birthday was this week, and we had a nice long conversation. And it's one of those things where, of course, it's a difficult time, but it also brought joy because we hadn't lived together for years, and we kind of got to know each other again. And I just want to say, the experience of having a stroke is quite shocking, and I am going through all of those things that Dan was talking about, especially just dealing with a change in my life. And I keep saying to myself this week, I just want my life back. I just want my life back. Well, the life I had is probably not coming back anytime soon, but I am working on getting better, and I'm asking for help when I need it, and which is something I learned by coming here, because New Yorkers don't really ask for help. And I'm very grateful for this church and my friends here. I do want to say light a candle of concern for Molly Chambers, who is home now, but still struggling with things. And Gina and I are going to try to go see her this week and see how she's doing. So anyway, thank you all. Thank you for being here, Dan.
Thank you for sharing, Ellen. Cassie Walker has a joy to share. She says that yesterday, Stone Soup Cafe continued to serve the meals until everyone in line had gotten what they needed, well past the normal cutoff time. And David Levitt adds 638 meals were served yesterday.
Wow. 600. Wow. Okay. That's a lot.
Is anybody else on there? Could you broaden the focus of the back camera, and everybody could turn around to the cameras on that, on the back wall, and just wave to everybody on Zoom. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
I'll light another candle for all of the people who have lost their SNAP benefits, for all the air traffic controllers who are working without pay. Not everybody has a resort that they can go to if the income stops. And one more candle to signify all those joys and concerns that we carry with us unspoken in our hearts. And now if you'll open your hymnal, usually at the front somewhere there's our song, Prayer to Friends, introduced to this congregation by Reverend Jean. To this day I bring my life, born of hope, born of sand, yearning joy where now there's strife. All I have, all I am, help me to see what I must see. Help me to be where I must be. Restless faith abide till all are free. Fill my life, turn my hand. Closing words are also by Reverend Forrest Church, who was the minister at All Souls Church in New York City for, I think, about 20 years. He wrote, "Everyone suffers, but not everyone despairs. Despair is a consequence of suffering only when affliction cuts us off from others, or we cut ourselves off. It need not. The same suffering that leads one person to lose all sense of meaning can just as easily promote empathy, the felt experience of another's pain. Hope is woven into the lifelines that connect us." And in the words of the late, great singer-songwriter Warren Zevon, passed away about 22 years ago, of lung cancer, when you realize that life is short, you remember to enjoy every sandwich. So let us now go forth into the world and remember to enjoy every sandwich as we listen in silence to the postlude.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. So don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, rise with the smiling sun. 3 little birds round my doorstep are singing sweet songs, melody pure and true. This is my message to you. So don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. So don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. So don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. So don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright.
Everybody have a great day.
Some brief announcements. We've got something important going on this afternoon. Maybe right at noon, who knows?
Yeah, so today we want to have a quick conversation after coffee hour about just safety and security here at All Souls, the way that we make sure that we are being as safe as possible, both for Sunday services, but also for events that happen not on Sundays, especially ones where they might be a little bit more controversial or might just get a little more attention. So we'd love to have folks come meet us, probably just up at the front here. We can have a little circle where we can all talk about ideas for how we can keep ourselves safe.
Are you thinking about an hour?
I think an hour at most.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Russ. As a greeter, Karen Schaefer earlier mentioned a poem, Dust If You Must. We have several copies of it on the table out front. And also, as a greeter, thank you, Louise, for greeting with me today. She did a great job, and I know there are so many of you who want to see if you could do just as good a job with me next week. I could use a second greeter. So if any of you are available and commit to it, please let me know. It doesn't take a lot. It's being friendly with the people who come in. Thanks. Oh.
Yeah, I'd be likely to help you, Russ. We have an event on the 22nd of November. It is a Saturday. Ignore all things that suggest the 22nd is a Friday, because it is a Saturday. Saturday, November 22nd, we are receiving guests from the Odanak Reservation. Folks are coming here to talk about the experience of being Abenaki, being pressed way to the north outside of the borders of this country, and how the injustices of being taken from their homelands, which is the Pecumtuck homelands, are their ancestral homelands, and how it is to not have access to them. 3 to 6, it will be a panel here. And on Sunday, there's going to be some folks, possibly me included, speaking from the pulpit in regards to how we receive them and how we welcome them to their homelands.
Any other announcements? There are a few meetings listed in the order of worship.
Thank you. Yeah, Andrew Baker. Just wanted to let you know that next weekend on Friday and Saturday, our second movie of the Pothole Pictures season will be a look back. It's a documentary called Far Out that was made just last year about two communes in this region that formed in the 60s and 70s, and the folks who lived their lives after that. Life on and after the commune is the subtitle. So if you want to dive into our radical political past, there'll be a movie. There'll be a concert beforehand by two of the former commune members, Patty Carpenter and Veranda Porsche, and then a panel discussion afterwards about the movie with all four of them, the director, Chuck Light, and Sam Lovejoy, who was one of the members of the Montague Farm Commune who toppled the tower in the Montague Plains and launched the anti-nuclear movement that became the Clamshell Alliance. So anyway, Friday and Saturday, 7 o'clock in Shelburne Falls at the Shelburne Falls Theater. There's a flyer out front if you want one.
Thank you, Andrew. I think we're all set for some community time.
Actually, we have one announcement that
Okay.
Gary would like to make. Gary, I will ask you to unmute and feel free to share with us.
It's actually Christy. Christy and Gary. Completely unrelated to you or anything, but at the Lava Center in Greenfield, they do a monthly writers' read event on the first Wednesday of every month, and they've been kind enough to invite me to be one of their readers, along with two other folks. So if folks want to come out for an evening of stories and poems, and it's actually, I think it's a donation, like $5 or something if you want to. But yeah, I'll be sharing some stories. Would love to see friendly faces in the audience if you are so interested. Thanks so much.
Christy is going to be reading at the Lava Center, correct me if I'm wrong, Christy, on Wednesday evening. She's one of the writers who is going to be reading.
Thanks, Steve.
Check the Lava website for the time. We have donuts, Adam's Donuts today, along with some fudge and hot cider, coffee, etc. Join us, and then stick around for an important meeting.